Hi, everybody. It is Monday night all over again. This is Donna Graybanks. I am the founder, director of the Fresh Book Festival, which is held in the beautiful city of Daytona Beach. In 2024, it'll be 22, 23, 24 February in the year of 2024 at the Cherry Center in Daytona Beach, Florida. I just got off of the Zoom in on a fresh conversation with Mr. Vincent Taylor, who is the author, director, co-writer, writer, developer of the Cornbread series. And he has written, I think, 7 or 8 books about the protagonist, Cornbread, which is a male figure. And he has been coming to Daytona Beach. We're thinking like 7.5 years. And I want to thank him publicly for bringing cornbread to us every year. Having a male protagonist as part of the series, it's there are books, all kind of books for little girls, all kind of fairy tales, princesses, um, but for young men, it's really hard to find an, a melanated protagonist for them to read about. And so thank you so much, Mr. Vincent Taylor. We can't wait for you to come to Daytona this week on the 29th of June at the Cherry Center in Daytona. If your child is not signed up for the summer program, I'm sorry, you're going to miss Mr. Vincent Taylor and Cornbread. But for those who are, you are going to have an afternoon of literacy that your child will never forget. But let me just, people say, well, what do you do when Fresh Book is all over, right? What do you do? There's so many things that have to do with literacy, down to the point where we try to reach out and do books at almost every event that we do, whether it's for the 501c3 that I'm a part of or Fresh Book. If there's an event, we're going to have books there to give away, which is so important. And books that have characters that look like us, and books that have characters who don't look like us. Because for us, it's not really always about whether the character is melanated or non-melanated. It's about reading and whatever you connect with, which is so important. And one of the things that Vincent talked about was when you have a child that may be a little disruptive in your classroom, and you really have to get to know that child to find out what their makeup is all about. And we talked about, I was a talk, right? Talk, 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 great grades, but always had this demerit thing because I just would not be quiet. And Miss Williams, thank you wherever you are. Um, if you're still with us or in heaven, thank you very much for finding out that it's not that I wanted to be disruptive. I just had always had something to say. So she started a reading circle. And for those of us, there were 2 or 3 of us in the classroom, just talk, 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 talk. She decided to make us the captains, with a little sign, sash of a reading circle. And every day we had a little circle and we all read together. And if we were bad in class, talking, be disruptive, we could not be the captains of the reading circle. And so that was so important to us that we decided to be quiet in class. But connecting with your students and finding out every student has a gift. And I know sometimes in these situations where you're teaching, you don't have time to find out what that gift is. But the first day of class, if you could just say, tell them to tell you what they really like to do. That'll give you some kind of insight as to how you might be able to build a rapport with that student. But that being said, let me circle back. What does Fresh do in the meantime? So, like I said, we give away books at every opportunity. We do have a Reading Ranger program with the 501c3 that I'm a part of, that we haven't really gotten off the ground yet, but we are going to get it started. And that is where students have a mentor one-on-one. We will either read out loud with them face to face, or over the internet, but we're going to make that work because our reading scores are very low and we really need to pull them up in our communities. We do, I am also part of the DeLand Fall Festival of the Arts, and they do a Black Artist Talk every other month or every other quarter, every other month. And that's also literacy. Painting is literacy. You know, you have to know shapes, you have to know form, you have to think about geometrically how this is going to fit on a canvas and what the colors are going to be. And all that comes from literacy. So if you have a student who is artistically inclined, give them a pencil, give them a book, let them draw certain periods of the day so that they can get that out of their system. And then, you know, we have other things that we're involved with. Mr. Lynn Thompson is putting on a play in Daytona Beach in August. He is the writer and producing it at the same time. So we get involved in those things. And that's literacy. There's no more literacy more than standing up on a stage and convincing people in the audience that you are the character that you are. You cannot do that without being literate. So we try to keep our tentacles out there in the literacy world and the community as much as possible. We're looking to branch out into other cities. Not a huge book festival like F.R.E.S.H, of course, because that takes up way too much time to try to do that in too many different places, but smaller venues where we'll have children come and read out loud. That is the key. If you can get a child to read out loud, then the comprehension will come. And if you get them to read with just a little bit of music behind, whether it's, you know, some jazz or, you know, clean hip hop or poetry, it just really makes all the difference in the world to have just that little bit of push to help them reading. And so wherever you can do that, wherever you can take the time, especially if you're retired, if you could take the time to go into school, I know you have to have credentials. I know you have to have a background check, but 30 minutes twice a week with one student would catapult their scores that next year. 1 hour, 30 minutes, Tuesday and a Thursday, a Monday and a Wednesday. You have no idea the difference that would make. And if you can't do it in person, you could do it through Zoom with that student, which some may find that better because it's you're not surrounded by other people. It's just you and the student connecting through the Zoom. And if there's a correction that has to be made, the only people who will know about the correction is you and the student. And hopefully their parents and brothers and sisters aren't running around. But you know what I'm saying? You have a one-on-one literary conversation with the student. But it's the F.R.E.S.H Book Festival. It is in the beautiful city of Daytona Beach. This year, we are in 2024. We are going to bring back the original 13. Now we're up to like 30, 35, and people coming in from overseas, and it's crazy. But the original 13, we want to find out, you know, what they've been doing. Are they still writing? Where has their careers taken them? Are they retired now? And bring them back to hear their stories. We're still looking for short films. So if you have one, please send it to us, freshbookfestivals@gmail.com. You can use WeTransfer, however you need to get it to us so it can be reviewed for the film festival in February. I think that's about it. I just want to encourage you to read to your children. If you're having a baby, read to the baby while the baby is still in the womb, and music to the baby while it's on the womb, because it makes such a difference. Now, Do I know how hard it is to work every day and have a baby and da 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 da? Yes. Could I have done things way different 36 years ago? Yes. But we do better because we know better. And we know now that literacy has a rhythm. And if you can find out the rhythm for these children to learn and to read, it will make all the difference in the world. Anyway, I thank you. It is the Fresh Book Festival. Reach out to us. If you have any questions, if you want to be a part of the Fresh Book Festival, the registration starts in August, but send us an email or go online to www.freshbookfestivals.net. Has an S on it, freshbookfestivals.net, and send us a contact form so that we won't miss sending you the information once registration starts. I want to thank everyone who is part of Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation on Monday nights, every Monday night at 8 o'clock, where we speak to authors from all over the United States and abroad about their books and their accomplishments and what their books are about. I thank you again. It's Monday night and Zoom In on a Fresh Conversation. Thank you so much. Good night.